Our guest tonight has been part of the theater scene in Nevada County for a very long time. She is an author, singer-songwriter, and helps run the community of writers. And also a bit of comedian talking to her, which I believe the community of writers is celebrating their 50th year. There is not much this woman can't do. Please help me welcome Sands Hall. Sands, thanks so much for coming down.
Thank you, Jenna, so much.
I'm so excited to talk to you. Yeah, talking to you, there's not much you don't do.
Well, there's lots I don't do. But...
Actor, singer-songwriter, author, what do we...
It's true. I do all of those things, and I really love it. Yeah, the theater thing's really great. I direct, I'm a playwright, and then I'm also, yes, indeed, a singer-songwriter, and I'm also an author and a teacher. That's really what it is.
I heard you had a couple of plays this last coming year.
Yes, I got to direct 2 really cool plays. One was part of an evening called The Shorts, although there's a playwright named Teresa Rebeck who's known for writing short plays, but I directed one that was full length called What We're Up Against, which was a beautiful exploration of sexual politics in the workplace. A lot of women came to that saying, I know I'm supposed to be funny, but it's way too resonant of my own experience. And then over Christmas with Legacy, that was with Sierra Stages, and with Legacy Productions, I was lucky enough to direct a wonderful adaptation of It's a Wonderful Life that was designed to be a live radio play. And that was really a delight. And that was held at the Nevada Theater, which is such a gorgeous place to produce things in.
Wow, you've been really busy then this past year. Let's talk about this upcoming event, the Sierra Writers Conference 2025.
Yeah. This is the Sierra Writers Conference. This is the Sierra Writers' 10th year, and they have over the years just developed to be able to have the most extraordinary people come be a special guest. Last year it was Obie Kaufman. The year before it was sci-fi writer Kim Stanley Robinson, and this year the special guest is Amy Tan, who most of your listeners will know of as the author of, amongst other things, but most famously, The Joy Luck Club. And she has recently written a book which is called The Backyard Bird Chronicles. And during the pandemic, she'd always wanted to sketch and draw, and she has obviously a lot of talent there, and she began to keep a nature journal of the birds in her backyard, and then she went on, bird walks with people in the know, and she began to draw, and she writes these charming little pieces of information on the stuff that she draws, and then she wrote a book that with some of these drawings in it, in which she explains how this unfolded. And she is so smart.
I always wondered what those birds do in the backyard.
Oh, and she has all the answers for you. Yeah, she buys something like 10,000 mealworms, every few weeks because the birds love them.
Just feeding the birds.
Yeah, that's a really fun thing. And then I'm honored to be able this year to be keynote speaker. I'll speak at 8:30 on Saturday morning. Amy's going to talk at 2. I'm going to actually be in conversation with her. Very much looking forward to this. I'll ask her questions and show some of the pictures.
Oopsie-daisies.
And some of the images that she's drawn, and we'll talk together. But at 8:30, I'll be speaking. I love this year's theme is ecosystems.
Oh, and something we're all passionate about right now, especially in this county.
Especially in this county. Yeah. And one of the things I've found out is an ecosystem can be something like a forest or a desert or tundra or beach, but it's also a wonderful metaphor for anything in which a system takes place. So here at the Media Center, you are kind of this ecosystem. An ecosystem has living things and non-living things in it, and they interact. So there's all this interconnection, which is a fantastic metaphor to be exploring for my keynote on Saturday.
That's amazing. Yeah, that sounds like that's really interesting stuff. Is this open to the community? Anybody can come?
Anyone can come. I think tickets are getting pretty tight now because Amy Tan is such. But you can go to, it's sierrawritersconference.wordpress.com, I think. Anyway, if you Google Sierra Writers Conference, you'll get it. And that is not to be confused with the Community of Writers, which is a group that my parents actually founded, over 50 years ago.
Of course.
And we actually have a pretty important deadline coming up on March 10th. By March 10th, you can submit. We have both memoir and nonfiction as well as fiction programs. and a poetry program. And you can find all kinds of information out about that at Sierra Writers.
Something for every writer, poetry, fiction,
communityofwriters.org.
nonfiction.
And that is an incredible conference, been going for many, many years. It's very well known and a really big deal. So 2 fun things for the writers in the community.
Oh man, that is a lot of fun stuff coming on. So yeah, future writers, writers now, check out the Sierra Writers Conference.
And I have one more thing to say too.
Of course. Are you a firefighter too?
I am. No.
Do you have to go to your?
I have to do ring ring. Yes.
Yeah. Do you have to? Check out. Put your cape back on.
This is the Sierra Poetry Festival, and it's on April 12th. That's this year. This month is Women's History Month. Next month is National Poetry Month, and so we hold every year. I'm part of the planning committee on this, and we have fantastic poets and workshops and pop-ups going on all month long, starting late March and going all through April, and all of that's available on a great website, sierrapoetryfestival.org.
A lot of websites to check out for this community. Yeah, a lot of opportunities to get out there. Oh man, anything special that inspired you as a young adult or a child to do all these things, be a writer, and what was your inspiration?
I love that.
Tell
Jenna.
us.
Thank you. Well, I think I was fortunate to have parents who were very into the arts, so they were very encouraging in that direction, and I think that made a big difference. My father played all kinds of music on a good old stereo, and from Lead Belly to opera to Joan Baez to Terry Riley in C, all kinds of fabulous things. And I think there was just early on a great appreciation for words. I'll actually confess a little obsession I had as a child, which was homonyms. If I heard a word that sounded the same but was spelled differently and they meant 2 different things, I had this little 3-hole punch piece of thing I'd made myself, alphabetical order, I tied with a piece of yarn, and I would run back to my room and write down the homonym, that key, Q-U-A-Y, and key-E-Y, I would just have these incredible moments of, whoa. So I think words were just always really, really interesting to me, and that's where I've spent my life. I love to be a songwriter, work in words. I have a couple of albums out. I love to work as a director, of course. You're listening to words and how actors say them, which I find an incredibly engrossing thing to do. As a playwright also, and also, of course, as a writer and a teacher. So I think amongst the things that might be interesting is I have a play that has been performed several times in the community and elsewhere called Fair Use, and it is about, some of your listeners will know about this scandal already, but the very famous Pulitzer Prize-winning novelist Wallace Stegner, in his Pulitzer Prize-winning novel Angle of Repose, actually plagiarized huge chunks of text written by a local, speaking of local history month, a local writer named Mary Halleck Foote, who she and her husband used to live at the North Star House that was built for them actually by a friend of theirs, James D. Haig. And that is a fascinating story. I'll be talking about that in, I think, September out at the North Star House, if anybody's interested. And also, if you go, more websites, if you go to Alta Magazine, there's a magazine called Alta Journal, and look up Sands Hall and Wallace Stegner, you can read a very cool essay about it.
I'm definitely going to have to check that out.
It is something
I'm
going
to be researching you for a long time because you do so much. I'll never get it done.
It's all words.
And obviously, your love of words has, it's been you've been successful with them.
Thank you.
I thank you so much for coming down and talking to us. Jenna. And I can't wait to hear your stuff. I'm going to check out this conference. Don't forget, Sierra Writers Conference, February 27th to March 8th. But get your tickets.
March 8th is a big day. Yeah, for sure.